New technology is on the radar of the federal government. The Federal Trade Commission just wrapped up a day-long workshop on the voice cloning, its uses, and of course the possible abuse.
Voice cloning. WMAR 2 News, Mallory Sofaste, we'll hear her voice now. She shows us why it was invented, how it's already helped those dealing with certain types of health conditions, and how it could potentially cause you financial harm, because if it matters to you, it's a matter for Mallory.
Yeah, Jamie and Kelly, for people who lose the ability to speak, voice cloning could mean communicating in a way that sounds like your old self. But at the workshop today, much of the conversation focused on the rise of deep fake videos, officials and celebrities having their voices used without their consent, and scammers using this technology to steal from consumers.
I can just type stuff into a text editor and then push play and it will say it.
Text-to-speech has helped those without a voice communicate, but the technology has advanced.
Now the voice can sound like your own.
We first really got involved in this when we copied Roger Ebert's voice.
Sarah Prock in Scotland is one of several companies offering voice cloning software. In addition to Ebert, they recreated the voice of a longtime Washington radio correspondent.
The U.S. Supreme Court has basically punted on the issue of legislative gerrymandering
after a rare neurological disorder made it hard for him to speak. And they helped a 12-year-old quadriplegic boy with cerebral palsy sound his age.
I'm Andrew, a synthesized Scottish accented child's voice from Sarah Prock.
And you realise how important it is to them, how personal it is to them, how much it is part of their being, really, to be able to speak.
Our voices are part of our identity, some that are so recognizable. You know who they are.
I know Santa Claus well. He's a great guy. Very smart.
But is it really them?
Our nation is at war against a far-reaching network of violence and hatred.
These voices were recreated by Sarah Prock, a benign example of other ways voice cloning can be used, but the Federal Trade Commission worries about malicious counterfeiters.
I pick up the line and it sounds just like my husband. And my husband says, "Hey honey, my phone died. I had to borrow a phone from my friend because I forgot we had a payment to make and that's due today. Could you please make that payment?"
Even without voice cloning, many have fallen victim to scammers pretending to be a grandchild.
Could there be something that alerts you that, hey, this might not actually be the real person on the other line, even though they sound similarly like the real person?
These are questions the FTC hopes to have answered by industry experts in a public workshop.
How they are distinguishing between a real human voice, your real voice, and then a potential clone of your voice.
And the ethics of voice cloning. Can anyone take clips of your voice and recreate your sound without permission?
There's no clear legal framework for how people's identity in terms of those voices protected, and that needs to change.
Dr. Aylett knows that as the technology becomes more available, this could become an issue. But there's also no going back.
The ability to express yourself, to tell jokes, to have this sort of timing, to sound annoyed. You know, I mean, these things are things we take for granted when we have a normal voice.
And for now, it's being used to help those who've been silenced speak again. Well, some other uses include podcasting or audiobooks. If you're interested in voice cloning, Dr. Aylett recommends banking your voice, taking a few hours to record yourself speaking in a quiet place so you'll have it in case you ever need it.
Wow, that is something. Well, if you have a matter for Mallory, she would like to hear from you. You can email her at mallory@wmer.com, or you can find her on Twitter or Facebook.